there. Today, we are going to talk about smart devices, everybody's new favorite little thing. By the end of 2020, there were over 20 billion devices that were connected to the internet, our new Internet of Things, the IoT. You may have heard of that saying before. So, anyway, lots of fun things happening with these. They can cook, they can clean, they can protect our house, heat our house. They can even give our dogs treats while we're at work. So there's lots of fun things that you can do with these devices. And I'm not trying to take that away, but one thing that we need to think about when we're dealing with these devices is security, because that's not always at the forefront of what the manufacturers are thinking when they're creating these devices. So 4 things we're going to look at. Number 1, we are going to take into consideration that the password that comes from the manufacturer needs to be changed. The manufacturer sends a default password, and the problem with having a default password from manufacturer is that if a hacker wanted to, he could go online and he could find the password to whatever this device is. So we want to change the password, okay? The second thing we want to do is we want to go in and check the privacy settings in the app, because the privacy settings may be set to be more advantageous for the manufacturer than for the actual end user consumer. Maybe they're tracking information. Maybe they're sending it out to marketing companies. You don't know unless you take a look in there. So we're going to do it, change the password. Then we're going to look at the privacy settings. And another thing we're going to take a look at is the software updates. We want to make sure that each of these devices is automatically getting the software updates. And the reason why software updates are so important is because security is not necessarily, like I mentioned, the first thing that they're thinking of when they're creating these devices. So what happens is little security issues will start happening, and the consumers will report that back to the company, and then the company will make a patch to fix that problem, and then they'll send out a software update. So you want to make sure that we are always updating any kind of software updates that come from the manufacturer of the device, because that's probably got some security updates in there. So we've got the password, privacy settings, and the automatic updates. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is the listening settings. A lot of these devices are listening to us. So we want to specifically talk about Amazon's Echo, AKA Alexa, and what her listening settings are, because this one thing, I want to read this to you. This was quite startling. I didn't realize this, and maybe you did, but I did not. So Alexa's regular settings right out of the box, this is what it says: to awaken the device, when the device will awaken when they hear the word Alexa. However, this is the important part. However, it is recording conversations and reports this information back to its servers every 3 minutes, whether the device is in use or not in use. Yes. So I think we all thought that Alexa wasn't listening until she hears her lovely little name, but she is always listening and always recording. Who would have thought that was actually happening? So what we want to do is we want to, at the very minimum, we want to go into the Alexa settings and we want to say, Alexa, we don't want you listening to us unless I say your name. And then she'll start listening when you say Alexa, and then whatever else is that you say after that. So that's one thing. And the other thing we might want to think about doing is unplugging Alexa if we're not using her. It's kind of sometimes a little bit of a pain, but then you don't have to worry about anything. So we either want to go in and tell Alexa, I don't want you listening to me unless I tell you your name, and then you can listen. And then, or number 2, unplug Alexa when you're not using her. Okay. So I have a couple of interesting stories from some Alexa users. So the first one was a family was having a conversation, and it was recorded, and it was sent through Alexa. It was sent to one of the contacts of one of the people in the home, right? So the contact happened to be one of the employees of one of the people in the home. So she called and she said, hey, you got to unplug your Alexa. It's recording conversations and sending it to me. So that could get somebody in a lot of hot water, because, when we're home, we're having private conversations. That's what they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be private. They're not supposed to be getting sent all over creation by Alexa. So that was an issue. And when they contacted Amazon, they said that problem has been fixed. So hopefully no one's going to run into that. Another reason to unplug her when she's not in use. So the next one, this is crazy. I can't even imagine this happening. I would have a heart attack. So pitch black, middle of the night, you're sleeping, and the blue ring goes around, and all of a sudden Alexa starts laughing and cackling like a wild, crazy woman. I can't even imagine. I would jump out of my skin like you can't even believe. So that would be something that nobody would want to go through. But I have heard quite a few reportings of Alexa doing that weird laugh. But waking up in the middle of the night from a dead sleep in the pitch black, hearing that, that's a whole other thing. So this is another Alexa story. This is actually really funny. So this Alexa user was listening to Frank Sinatra, and in the middle of a beautiful Frank Sinatra song, the music trailed off. Alexa must have heard something that just distracted her or something. I don't know. So the song trailed off, and then all of a sudden, Alexa went into this rap. Now, I'm not a rapper. I'm not sure if you didn't know that or not, but I am not a rapper. But I'm going to do my best to try to read this to you because it's quite funny. So, song trails off, and here she goes. This is what she says. My name is Alexa, and I'm here to say I'm the baddest AI in the cloud today. Your questions are fast. My responses are faster. All those sucker search engines call me the master. Now, isn't that funny? I thought it was very funny too. And I would probably think it was very funny if it happened. But the issue isn't whether or not it's funny that it happened. It's why is this happening? It's kind of weird. So anyway, that's my little advice on smart devices today. 4 things real quick to go over. Want to change the manufacturer password. We want to check the privacy settings. We want to check the listening settings. And then we want to, what was the 4th one? Set it up for automatic updates. Yes. Okay. So those are the 4 things. So go have fun with all your smart devices, and we'll see you on the next episode.